Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Flagged Off podcast. We know that you missed us all last week, and so did we. I hope I can say that for the panelists too. And with the way the league is being progressed so far, so we thought that we'll change up a little bit. And this week, we're just going to talk about the teams which are performing well, and we're going to classify them as contenders and pretenders. And after that, we're just going to be looking at the player of the week by the panelists, and we'll see how. So, Sashank, to get this started, you have been the one who have classified a couple of teams as the outright contenders. You've not let go of Liverpool and City, but are you still stating, and do you still stand with that?
Yeah, VK, 100%. After all these games, I know City don't look as convincing as they were a couple of years back. And Liverpool, we know the injuries that are, that have been happening. But I think apart from all this, the two of them still look like the top two contenders. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I just feel that right now, I wouldn't say, but the top two contenders are Liverpool and City.
But why?
Because those are the only two teams who've, had the experience of a title race in the last 2 years. Before that, I know parts of the Spurs team and parts of this Chelsea team, they've, been in a title race. But I think it's these two teams who still have that experience recently. And on top of that, just looking at them play, we just kind of have an idea. And even though, again, City don't look good and Liverpool have injuries, I still feel those two are the ones who can sustain a title challenge compared to the other ones. But I don't know, because the recent performances, Gautam might think Chelsea's a contender. Yeah. Do you think? Because I don't think Chelsea will contend, but what do you think?
When you said Liverpool and City are the contenders, you know that I'm coming at you for sure, right? So, I understand, preseason, you could say, Liverpool City. But then, these 7 games has shown and exposed how these top clubs can be violated. And it showed that, how teams can expose them on many different levels where, bottom tables, mid-table teams are actually putting up a fight against these two clubs. And specifically in terms of City, yes, Liverpool, I have to agree, the way they play, they know how they can pull it off. If you actually look at Liverpool's results from last year, they have had the most number of goals scored between 80 and 90th minute. They were just pulling off Fergie time in Anfield. And then in terms of City, this season specifically, right, they finally have a striker back. Yes, that's good. But the fact that their squad depth is still so poor, bro. They are number 10 in the league right now. I know they have a game in hand. Even if they have a game in hand, even if they win that, hypothetically speaking, it only pushes them to 7th because of their goal difference right now. And no way they're scoring 9 goals to jump 6 spots ahead. So,
okay, but still, it's only 3 points that separate them from the top of the table. But okay, I understand you not considering your reasons for not considering Liverpool and City for the top two. But why do you consider Chelsea to be one of the two contenders? What have they shown?
Wait, just to answer that, before we just go into Chelsea, I just want to get one thing clarified through Sashank. Sashank, I still have this doubt. Are you a Liverpool fan or a United fan?
Dude, I've got to be objective. I can't come here and say United.
Come with the objectives. You're supposed to be ruling out Liverpool just the moment, like we had the conversation when Van Dijk was injured. They've sustained with Fabio. They cannot sustain the squad at the moment with they're playing and they're getting injuries. Okay, it's not just 1 or 2. It's now becoming a small span. So it's
absolutely. And also, Sashank, I hope you're not forgetting the fact that Trent Alexander-Arnold's injured last game. So, bro, who's coming in at right back? Don't tell me Chris Elliott. I don't know if I got his name right.
Liverpool were there for the taking this weekend. It was not like City played better. They were there for the taking. If you had noticed, I don't remember the last time Liverpool did not want to push for the goal. When they got the ball, they tried to play that one ball where the front three tried to go ahead of the defensive line. But apart from that, I really don't think Liverpool had the energy in them. They were just walking around and they didn't have a game plan. That's the first time in 3 years now that we're seeing Liverpool do that.
No, I think they did have a game plan, actually. They did play well in the first 30 minutes, right? They did play well. The thing is, the second half, the game completely changed where, both of them were wanting to settle for a draw. Okay, but leaving out this game, my feeling about Liverpool is that, if you say the injuries that they can't sustain, they would have crumbled by now because they had all the massive injuries already. and they still haven't crumbled, and they've still sustained well in both the Champions League and the Premier League. So, that's the
Bro,
reason
the
I think Liverpool.
Champions League, you cannot put it like that, Sashank, because you see the games that they've played after those injuries too. It's not a top level team or
It's
whatever.
not top
right?
level, but still City, they still played well against City, right?
Second string squad. But the fact is that Premier League is a whole another level now, and everybody has to agree to it because you're seeing left, right, and center results where a bottom table winning a week, and then next game, like for example, obviously we're going to talk about it too. But my only thing is that why I'm saying Chelsea specifically is the fact that they've picked up a rhythm with the number of XYZ players that they've signed. And there are certain stars who are actually showing that, oh, you know what, they could perform at that highest level. And it's been a long time since actually Chelsea kept a series of clean sheet. And I feel like once they are able to pick up that rhythm, definitely with the squad that they have, they are definitely up there in terms of title contenders, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
That's what I'm asking if it's sustainable.
Yeah, and also the goal that they considered against Sheffield was like just a one-off incident. If you actually look at it, nobody even knows how it actually went through. So it was that kind of a goal. So I would not say it was a tactical mistake, or I would not put it as an individual mistake. It was just a open, like right off the corner, and then that's how it went through. So that's my only thing that okay, I'm seeing glimpses of them being a contender. So I feel I just want to stick to my instinct.
But on that point, Gautam, which you mentioned, and as Sashank said, is it sustainable? I think it's right to place Chelsea right now between contenders and pretenders in the middle. I don't think we can put them on either side because certain players have started clicking, okay, but we do not know if this is going to continue and if Chelsea actually have it in them to get all the 11 people to be in sync this season. That we've already asked that question. So I think on that line, even I don't agree with Sashank to put Chelsea on the contender list as of now.
Yeah.
You
What do you think?
agree with?
Yeah, do you
Because
agree
he's not agreeing for Chelsea to be the contender.
I don't think Chelsea is going to be a contender. What, VK, do you think Chelsea is going to be a contender or not?
No. I still don't feel that Chelsea are a contender, but maybe after Christmas we can give them a real shot based on where they stand. But right now, apart from the City and Liverpool, which we've discussed already, the one team that I really think who can do it this year seems like Spurs. But because the last game was really poor from them, okay, and they still managed to get that one goal. That's the one thing that matters in the Premier League or for any title-winning season. And Spurs have been doing that a little consistently prior to the previous seasons.
Now that you bought up Spurs, Nirushan, do you think Spurs can win the title?
To be honest, I don't think they'll win the title because I think they'll choke at the end. But
Even with Mourinho?
Yeah, even with Mourinho. The thing is, what I want to, I just want to add on what PK said. It wasn't just last week that the result went in Spurs' favor. Even against Burnley, they struggled, and they managed to sneak in that 1-0 win. That's something that Liverpool did last year. They somehow got their 1-0 wins, and they kept that the momentum going, that winning momentum going. Now the thing, when you're looking at, like you said, Manchester City and Liverpool, on paper, yes, you expect them to win. But when you're talking about teams that have progressed really well this season, you have Chelsea where they were couple of game weeks, not in couple of game weeks, the first 4 game weeks where they were and where they are now, that's progress. That's progress, and even Aston Villa have a similar progress. When you look at that, Tottenham also fall in that same bracket. They've progressed well. So looking based on the progress, right, and Chelsea and Spurs for me are 2 teams that can actually push for the title. But if you're looking back at history, Spurs have been there, they've done that, and they've choked. Chelsea have been there, they've done that, and they've gone to win. Now the next step for someone like Chelsea, the Chelsea team would be, can I take this progress and continue at least over until New Year's, because that's when the fixture gets really congested. And if you can, navigate through that congested fixture schedule, given the current year that we are having, Chelsea will be strongly, firmly in the contenders list.
So when you say one.
Sorry.
Also, Sashank, because one more thing is that, you should see that, okay, in terms of contenders, we are also, I know we're talking only about Premier League, but it's also about how all the teams that we're talking about are in the Champions League as well. And the Spurs have that advantage that they're not in the Champions League, they do have that advantage.
But it's a
right now,
disadvantage to play in the Europa, right?
Yeah, that's actually a
well,
disadvantage.
I mean, they play Europa, bro. But the fact that they have a great squad, bro. They have pretty much 2 players for every position right now as we speak, and I feel like they're one of the best. They've had the best transfer windows this summer.
Sure.
So there is not taking anything away from that Tottenham side, but
I just
yeah,
feel
and then
like I feel Mourinho. Like I know the title is a different thing, but if you give him an option to choose one title to win this season, which he can surely win, I think it'll be the Europa League. I think Mourinho with Spurs can win the Europa League. The title is going to be tough, but again, if you're going by 1, 2, 3, who are the contenders? I'll say it's City and Liverpool. It can be 1 or 2. It doesn't matter. But the third one before after them, I still feel it's going to be Spurs, just because the Spurs squad is. It might not be as good as Chelsea squad in terms of quality, but in terms of experience and in terms of the players that they have, the manager that they have, I think they have a well-rounded squad to win trophies immediately compared to Chelsea, who will win trophies, no doubt, but it'll take a year or two for them to, dominate the league or play, become a contender. But I feel Spurs are ready right now.
also, yeah, in terms of experience, you're absolutely right. Because also, if you look at the whole average experience of Chelsea squad versus Spurs squad, everybody has Premier League experience for years now, except for the new signings, and also the signings that they brought in, like Bale, bro. Come on, like he's had world of
Yeah.
Premier League experience.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what that. But anyway, to just slowly move this, I want to just know you, like all your guys, 1, 2, and third contender. I just want to see where you guys stand. So we can probably start with, huh?
You go first.
Me, eh? I told you it's 1 and 2, Liverpool and City. Which was, I'm going to give Liverpool the. No, I'm going to give City number 1 because I think with Van Dijk's injury, City's in prime position, even though they don't look good. City's 1, Liverpool 2, and I'll give it Spurs the third contender. So, yeah, Gautam, what do you say?
Liverpool, Chelsea, and
Did you just put Liverpool of Chelsea?
You take City out of the contention only.
attention, bro. That's just my feeling. I feel like City are the team to choke this year.
You go, we
Could
can.
be right.
I'll go for City first, Spurs second, just because I think they can do it and they should do it. The third one is a little tricky. I'm going to go for United.
So you're taking Liverpool out of the contention. But is it only because of the Van Dijk injury?
Yeah, it's because of the Van Dijk. It's just that their squad is also not great this season. They're going to get results. Okay. See, they might finish in the top 3 or top 4. That is there. But I still don't think that they will be in pole position at any point going forward at some point saying, yes, we are in the title race. They'll be around the title race. That's what I feel. Unless they drop out of the Champions League or the Cup games, then maybe there's a chance. We've set up the stage for you. We've given all the time. Please put Arsenal at number 1.
Yeah. That's not a go, by the way. Niru, your chance.
So for me, I would go City 1. 2 would be, it pains me to say this, but it would be Tottenham because I think it's just because of the manager. That guy is a very cunning guy, and he's probably, you give him like average players, he'll make them into a title-winning squad, like he did with Porto, and he's been there and he's done that also. And number 3 for me, I don't know why, but I think it's going to be Leicester.
Yeah, actually, Leicester do look good. I gotta agree. I was thinking the same. I was thinking we didn't put Leicester because Leicester have been even last season they were good. They were in the top 3 till December last year.
And
Yeah,
I think
could be.
Also,
They are one of the biggest point gaps they have.
because I think they've figured out what they need to do, and they're
Exactly.
executing that really well, irrespective of the teams that they're facing. So, but the problem with this Premier League in this current year is you just don't know what's going to happen. Like teams that were on the top have gotten hammered, and you've seen teams that like actually did really well end up losing the next game week. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, guys. Now that
It's time we place our penny bets, boys.
sorry, go.
Another? What do you-
It's time we place our penny bets. Who's gonna win?
Okay, guys. Now that we've got the contenders done for the episode, go to the pretenders. And Nirishan, you go first. Start from the bottom.
For me, the pretenders would be. I mean, it's difficult to classify who the pretenders are. Right? Like, I just don't know what to say. Like, do you go based on what the club stature, or do you go based on how the team is playing?
No, so I think it's right now based on how they're performing in the table right now, and what do you think it will last through this. For example, Leicester, Villa, Southampton, all these guys are on the top.
Okay. But then I would say Villa is one. Like I'm not ranking them. I'm just saying Villa is one team because they are doing well, but I don't think they will sustain it beyond December. That's for me. That's one. The other team that I wanted to talk about as pretenders would be, I think I would go for Southampton because for me,
Dude,
Southampton,
they're not even
uh,
considered that. Why you guys? Why are you putting them as a
they're
pretender?
playing well.
They're playing well. But
They,
are you saying at some point anybody's even speaking they'll win the Premier League?
they, the thing is, do you think even Aston Villa is going to win the Premier League?
Exactly.
No,
No.
but they are. But PK, but teams like Aston Villa, Leeds, and Southampton, they are playing in a way that will actually decide who's going to win the league. We know that they're not going to win the league, but they're taking away points from teams that have the potential to win the league. That's exactly what happened to Liverpool. If Liverpool had won that league, the game against Villa, we wouldn't have been having this conversation about whether Liverpool can sustain a winning, whether they can actually continue playing the way they're playing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. We're talking about teams that can actually take off points from teams that are potentially going to win the league. That's exactly what happened to like Arsenal. Like Arsenal's not going to win the league, okay? But then we had a good momentum run. We beat Manchester United, good model boost. Came, lost everything, gone rock bottom with Aston Villa. Now, are they going to
I
recover
think
from this? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the way Nirushan is putting out the pretenders is more like, is this a team that's going to continue to where they should, where they want to be? Is actually no, right? So it's the same as like, probably the way the Aston Villa is playing, if you actually do a stat analysis or like go through Opta or whatever, you could expect them to finish top 6 or top 7 with the current form.
Yeah.
But realistically, we know that they're not going to make it. So probably their biggest goal would be to finish top 10 this season with the way they've started the league. So if they can do that or not is the real question, and that's why I think the way Niru put it up is basically he wanted to see that. I think that's what happened.
I just like kind of feel when it comes to pretenders, I know United are not even pretending to fight for the title, but but I would say Arsenal, United, and Chelsea, all three of them are currently pretenders.
Actually, I have something to say. Like you said, right? Chelsea, yeah, you can say Chelsea are pretenders because they're actually fighting for the title.
Yeah.
Arsenal and United are neither here nor there. They are like in that gap between the two.
Correct.
They are not doing
That's true,
anything.
but even with that, United, if they win that game in hand, they're 6 points behind the top, and Arsenal are 5 points behind the top. So they're still within reach. It's not like they're 15. Like for example,
United are
last
5
year,
and Arsenal are 6 if United win the game in hand.
Oh, okay, yeah, United 5, Arsenal 6. Sorry. So that way, like, they're still, if they, for example, if they go on a run of 10 games, out of which they win 8 games, which were both of them together are not going to do, but still, I'm saying if they do a run.
Seven games will happen.
Yeah, that will be possible. But I just feel United, Arsenal, Chelsea is not there here this year.
Okay.
I just hope one of them don't win and I look like a fool, but I just think all three are pretenders.
Also, guys, my choice of pretenders, obviously, I just want to spice things up and make it a little different than what you guys chose. Mine is basically going to be Everton, Newcastle, and West Ham. 3 teams who have looked very glimpses of, who have showed glimpses of hope during the Premier League. If you see the way that Everton started the league, and also the way that Newcastle have been picking off points of different teams, and also the way West Ham, especially without Moyes, initially pulling off those kind of games and keeping that run, the cracker of a game against Tottenham.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like those teams, of course, they're showing the passion, they're showing what they can do, but I feel like that's not something that's sustainable with the squad. And
But my question to you is, like, out of these teams which we usually think are going to win the title, for example, like the traditional top 6, okay,
So
who do you think pretenders out of that?
Backing what Niru was getting into, but yeah, of course, in terms of actual title pretenders, that would definitely be for me this year is going to be Leicester. It's going to be Leicester. It is Yeah, I would stick with Leicester, Arsenal, and United.
But yeah, that makes sense. Leicester could be like a pretender this year. But I just feel right now Leicester, they don't have Soyuncu, they have like injuries, and still they're top of the table, and they didn't have Vardy for a couple of games. Despite all this, they're the 1 point lead, but still they're at the top of the table. So maybe they could last, because they did it last year just till the end, till the last game. So maybe they could hold on.
But that's the thing, Shashank, like you said, last year, when it mattered, they did not turn up even for one game. Imagine dropping 15 or 16 points over the course of 10 games. That's like the worst run you can have. That's like the teams that get relegated, that's the kind of games that they have. So that's even why I'm going to go with Gautam, that in terms of the Premier League pretenders, Leicester are at the top right now, and they're the perfect pretenders. Sure, yes, they will finish around the top 6, but I really don't think they have it in them to win another Premier League title. Look, whatever we say, that one was a lucky one in a lot of ways. They played well. I'm not taking anything away from them, but it was a lot of luck, a lot of things that played into it. All the top teams were not there that season. Only Arsenal, the so-called big team, were there at that moment. So apart from that, there was nobody. And going forward after that, they've always been in the top 6, top 8 now. That is going to be their thing. That's how a club progresses. And the second, I think, would be Chelsea. For some reason, I think that they're going to get a lot of results. They're going to get a lot of goals and all that. But can they win the Premier League this season? No. But I think they've done the perfect thing. Invest in everybody. One season, get everybody to get into it. Win the Premier League the next year itself.
Yeah, that's. I think they're setting themselves up for the future.
Correct.
Chelsea. But that's good. But
in the future, no doubt, Chelsea are going to be good. But this year, I don't feel. Even though Gautam thinks they will.
I just
see. If I was a Chelsea fan, I probably didn't think Chelsea are a contender too. But it's just watching them, I just don't get that feeling yet.
Okay, so
we would know better when we actually go into the later stages of Champions League, if they can actually pull it off against.
We have the same discussion like in Christmas, New Year time. That's the time we'll.
Gautam, this is an interesting question that I have for you, because I know what Shashank's answer is, and for Nirishan, I can't ask him because Arsenal don't compete for the Champions League. If you guys have a chance, wait, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Gautam, if you guys had a chance, okay, at that any moment in the season, if you could concentrate on the Premier League or the Champions League, you cannot do both. If it comes down to that situation, as a fan, what would you prefer, the Premier League or the Champions League?
Definitely the Champions League, bro. But the fact that you want to be England champions, so it's very hard. It's a very hard pick, to be honest. I would rather be champion of England. I mean, I don't know. It's just so. It's
There's a reason I asked you the question. You have to give an answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would stick to Champions League because of the fact that it just adds more value, and also the fact that I don't have to finish. I can finish 17th position and win the Champions League, and I still qualify for Champions League next year. So I think it'll be Champions League.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shashank, I think
but then if you ask somebody, but the fact that if you ask somebody who's from an economics background, they'll say Premier League because the money you get from winning the Premier League is not more than.
Please read all that. I asked you as a fan. Why are you bringing economics? I'm going to kill you. Nirishan, you had something to say?
Yeah, like what Gautam said, that's correct. Because when you look at from the club owner's perspective, they'll be like, no, it's Premier League, so that we get a lot of money coming in. But then when you look at the glamour or the appeal, you always, when you say you're the European champions, you're just not restricting yourself to one country. You're not saying that I'm champion of England or England and Wales. You're talking about like the entire European mainland continent. So that's a different approach, right?
Okay, guys, I think with that we can wrap up the contenders and pretenders far. And before we end our episode, the final segment, Gautam, you wanted to talk about somebody. So, panelist player of the week. Who is your player of the week today and why?
So, guys, for me, honestly, this is something that I've been wanting to get started with everyone. Just to bring who's your highlight for the week. Everybody might have one star that you watch out for this week. He might not be the talk of the town, but for me, this game week specifically, away at Arsenal, Aston Villa midfielder, technically Chelsea midfielder, Ross Barkley. The way he played, the way he carried out midfield was unbelievable. I've never seen him play like that for Chelsea, and I hope I do someday. but the fact that he actually ripped up Arsenal entirely was unbelievable, all the way from the first goal and then just dribbling across them. So he was definitely. I know we would want to talk about Grealish the way he is, but then he showed consistently he can be up there. But definitely, Ross Barkley was my pick of the week.
Nirishan, you were the perfect person to see it from the other side. Do you agree?
I agree with what Gautam has to say about Barkley, but the thing is, Barkley, he's had these performances even when he was at Everton, and then he tapers off. Now the question is, can he sustain that run? And that's the issue with Barkley. For me,
I'm glad. Yeah, that's why I'm glad he asked Player of the Week and not Player of the Year.
For me, based on what I saw, I'm going to go for Eberechi Eze from Crystal Palace. Very young.
So good.
Yes.
That's free kick.
He's always had. He's got someone like Zaha to mentor him, and I think he will be a good player for the future. He's always played well. It's just that his final ball has been lacking. He takes on players. He's been able to beat defenders quickly, and he's very skillful. And for me, he was I'm going for what do you say, like a non-top 6 or a non what do you say, a quality non.
Traditional,
Yes, correct. Not a conventional pick. That's what I want to go for. So I'm
Conventional pick, yeah.
Sasha?
But yeah, definitely, I agree too. Yeah, he was Player of the Week for a lot of people too.
Okay. So, Sashank, I'd like to end it on a high note, so I want you to go before me.
I don't know. I have a few players who are good, but I don't know what you're going to say. So I'm just assuming who you're going to say, and I'm going to choose someone else because I want to say the same one. Then I'll probably go for. It's a tough one, man. Okay, VK, you go first, and then I'll go after you.
Okay. I think you would think that I'm going to say Bruno, but it's not going to be Bruno. I'm not going to say Bruno.
Okay, wait. Then I was only going to say Bruno actually. So let me say, because I didn't want both of us to say the same player.
Get these United fans out of our panel, please.
Hey, no, I usually trash United, but see, this game was really, really important for United. If they had lost this one, then this 2 weeks would have been speculation about, again, Pochettino sacking and everything. So, I feel Bruno, and the thing is, Bruno had the worst possible game against Istanbul. I think he lost the ball in double-digit times. And, it was so bad. And the fact that he can come back within 3 days with such a good performance. And the thing I like about him, he makes all his mistakes. He does everything. But he's a leader. He's a winner. I think any team right now, for example, Arsenal, if Arsenal had Bruno right now, they'd probably be top 2. So because Arsenal are missing a creative midfielder. That's what exactly they're missing in that team. So
Bring Ozil back.
So I think it'll be Bruno because just for the fact that just for his sheer, his winner mentality and taking United to 10th spot, 10th or 11th or 12th, whatever that is, and you go with 14th from 15 to 14. So VK, how about you?
Okay, guys, I'm just going to keep it on a lighter note. After all the talk, all the abuses, all the shit that was thrown at him by our few.
I know.
Edinson Cavani, the moment he have to do under pressure, that was the goal to sum it up. He's my player of the week, boys.
When you said all the criticism, all that, I realized that time Cavani now out of both.
That goal, even my right foot to zoom out finished, bro.
Please don't say that, okay? Fernando Torres in the same position has missed an open post, okay? So it does take a lot to get it as your first goal.
Bro, if this was gonna be oh shit, fan pick means I would have picked ZH, bro. They played fire this week.
Okay.
Yeah, but Barkley's also Chelsea player.
When I ask as a fan, what you'll say, you brought economics into it. What can I do with you?
But I never expected Victor to say Cavani. I thought you were going to say someone who played on the.
I thought we were talking about Shaw. Shaw has been playing really well.
So, to be honest, you guys gave all the right players he mentioned. So, just want to. Anyway, guys. With that, thank you so much for your interactive session. And I've never seen all of us laughing and smiling like this. So, I hope that we can keep this up. And to the viewers.
Looks like you're back.
Sorry, Gautam.
I said, looks like we're back.
So thank you everybody for watching, and keep yourselves tuned. I think we'll have more videos out and more different things rather than the standard ones. And thank you everybody, and peace out.
Also, guys, it's VK's birthday in USA. Happy birthday.
Thank you guys for the wishes, and also you can wish Gautam belated birthday wishes, boy. You started the week for us.
Oh, yeah.
See you guys.